I wanted to share about an OYO that I did last week on adverse childhood experiences and what I learned. So the CDC defines adverse childhood experiences, or ACE, as a potentially traumatic event or events that occurred in childhood, so age 0 to 17. And I have a few examples below, such as a child experiencing violence, abuse, or neglect, having a family member attempt or die by suicide, and things, very traumatic events like that. So the kind of background of how this was originally studied, the first ACE study was done by Dr. Vincent Folletti and Dr. Robert, and they wanted to study if there's a connection between childhood experiences and someone's long-term health. So they surveyed 17,337 people, and they asked them these 10 questions. Before the age of 18, did you experience things like emotional, physical, sexual abuse, different kinds of neglect or violence, divorce, drug abuse, just to really find out people's situations growing up. And from this, there's two main findings that I want to talk about and that I learned from the OYO. The first is ACEs are incredibly common. 60% of people had at least one ACE. And the second finding is that there was a relationship between ACEs and health outcomes, and that the higher ACE score you have, which means the more traumatic events you experience, the worse health outcomes you had. So through this study and through much research that has been done since then, they have found that if you have ACEs, that you have an increased risk of chronic disease, behavior challenges, obesity, autoimmune disease, depression, and alcoholism. And the more number of ACEs you have, the greater risk you have. You also might be more likely to perform poorly in school, be unemployed, and have high risk health behaviors such as smoking and drug use. Here's a quote I liked from the OYO, is that adverse childhood experiences are the single greatest unaddressed public health threat facing our nation today, which really just shows its importance and how common it is. This study was done, 70% of the people in the study were Caucasian and were college educated. So this really is a problem that so many people face. But the good news is that there is hope and things that can be done in communities, whether that's mentorship, parent training, after school activities, enhancing parenting skills. If we focus on these, we can help have less children experience traumatic and stressful events. Obviously, some stress is normal and good, but any chronic stress or major traumatic events really can influence people negatively in their life. And it's just something that I want to be aware of, and I know we all can be aware of how we can help change those things in our communities. So thank you. Here's my sources, and thanks for listening in.